Eric Kuhn is going to come on stage. I'd like you to welcome him. He has taken on a very large role with the Branch Out Foundation as research coordinator. Give him a hand.
Hey guys, I'm going to keep it quick, but as Graham mentioned, so that $140,000 we raised, we'd like to take this opportunity to let you guys witness where it's all going. So this year we've sponsored 8 undergraduate students and 3 master's students, and in the future we'd like to sponsor PhD students as well. And we actually have 2 students here today, undergrad students, who are going to present and share with you some of their research. So with that, I'd like to call Michelle O up to the stage and give her presentation.
That's better. Good. So my name is Michelle O, and I'm currently doing a major in biomedical science with a minor in music for piano. And I work in Dr. Bin Hu's lab at the Hotchkiss Brain Institute, and what I do is a feasibility study for autism and music. But first of all, I just want to ask you guys, did you guys say hello to your neighbors yet? And if you haven't, say hello. Just and see how simple that was, right? Like, it's pretty simple to say hi or hello to someone you know or even to a stranger. But for individuals with autism spectrum disorders, saying hello to someone can be a life or death situation. That fear causes them to not socially interact with people. And that's what I'm going to do some research on. And so, oh, the slide isn't up there, but that's fine. But, so last year, the CDC released a report saying that autism occurred in 1 in every 88 kids. This year, though, it's increased to 1 in 68 kids, and it's even higher in boys, which is 1 in 42 kids, I believe. So that rate is pretty significant, and it doesn't seem like it's going to decrease anytime soon, which is why I'm here. And as many of you know, autism spectrum disorders, there's no really cause, there's not a determined cause for it, nor are there any cures for it. And so many of these individuals, they do take medications, but that tackles specific symptoms, but it doesn't tackle the key hurdle of ASD, which is social communication and social interaction. And that's where my project comes in. So as you guys know, I don't know if you can see this, but this is an iPod Touch actually, and our lab created an algorithm called AmbuloSono. And originally it was designed to help Parkinson's patients walk a bit further and a bit better, but now we're going to see, can it work with kids with autism? So how it works is, I'm just going to press this, it's the gait reminder, and the kid is going to wear this on their arm or leg. It's a movement-based thing, and there's music uploaded onto this as well as verbal instructions integrated into this, and that body movement, I don't know if you can hear the music. You can hear it slightly, right? Yeah, so in order for that music to play, you need a large enough body movement. If not, the music won't play. And the key connection between this is that you need the body movement to cause the music to play, for the verbal instructions to happen, and the kid's gonna repeat these words. And what we're hoping to do is to increase spontaneous vocalization. And what spontaneous vocalization is, it's pretty wordy, but it's basically like how you just went up to someone and said hello today, how you initiate a conversation. That's spontaneous vocalization. And without that, social communication and socially interacting with others is so difficult to do. And we've realized that through this device, you're changing the neural pathways in the brain to approach this. So by associating music to something that's scary as going up to someone and saying hi. Like, I know for myself, going up to someone and saying hi, it's pretty difficult sometimes, and I know for many of you that is too, but associating that with music, which is fun and it's not as scary, we're hoping to decrease that fear of social interaction and increase social spontaneous communication. So with that, hopefully you get a little sense of what I'm doing. And we're just doing a baseline right now. So we're having just a few kids come in and we're gonna test this out. We don't know if it works or not, so we'll have to wait and see for that. But thank you though for coming and actually participating in this and helping branch out, just because not many places fund research that deals with alternative medicine. And things like autism and Parkinson's and all of that, medications and pills just aren't enough. You need other types of medication, which is alternative medicine, right? And that's why I just want to give a big shout out to Branch Out and Mark and Lisa for funding this, and hopefully some things work out, but enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
All right, so our next student here is KOWTHER HASSAN.
Today. Yeah. Okay. So my name is KOWTHER. I'm working in Dr. Mathew Hill's lab over at the University of Calgary. So at today's starting line, some of you might have been thinking, how well am I going to do? Did I train enough? Is something going to happen to my bike? Do I look good in these bike shorts? So these issues that all of us go through is important to understand, and that'll be the topic of my talk today. And of course, I'm talking about stress and anxiety. So I have slides. Okay. So in 2012, approximately 2.5 million Canadians were living with severe enough stress and anxiety that they were diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, which is only one type of anxiety disorder. To add another layer to this, a high number of patients with neurological diseases, such as Parkinson's disease or multiple sclerosis, end up developing an anxiety disorder somewhere down the line. Many of these patients choose to self-medicate with cannabis for its anti-stress and anti-anxiety effects. In fact, a study done at the University of Calgary a few years back found that among cannabis users with multiple sclerosis, stress, anxiety, and depression were the highest rated benefits that these patients felt from their cannabis use. So for our research, we wanted to take it back to the fundamentals and try to understand what is going on in the brain during stress and anxiety. And the cannabis link is an important one because through cannabis research, novel neurotransmitters that have the same stress-relieving qualities as cannabis were discovered. They're called endocannabinoids, endo meaning from within the body, and cannabinoid meaning like cannabis. So you're releasing endocannabinoids all throughout the brain, including known stress-related brain regions. And you can think of endocannabinoids in cannabis in the same way that you think of endorphins and morphine. So you have that natural pain relief through the endorphins that you can also get through morphine. So everyone is here having a good time. You guys are all releasing these endocannabinoids in your brain, and it's actually putting a brake on the stress response. So you guys are not, your stress response is not activating and you're not freaking out. Then you encounter a stressor. For example, standing in front of a group and giving a presentation. But stress perception is increased in the brain. That brake is lifted off, and you get a reduction in these endocannabinoids, and then the stress response can occur. So in our lab, we're interested in that stress endocannabinoid. And the question we're answering is how does that increase in stress perception lead to a reduction in endocannabinoids? And how we're studying that is that we're looking at a potential signaling cascade that starts with that increase in stress perception, and a few steps down the line you get to that reduction in endocannabinoids. So these are just a few, Sorry, those are just a few of the markers that we're looking at. I'm not going to go into any detail with them today. So how we're testing this. So we've been working with several drugs that target what we hypothesize these steps to be in this signaling cascade. So if we manipulate these components, measure endocannabinoid activity, we can potentially find out what this signaling cascade really is. And what's nice about this is that through these drugs that we're using, since they target these different steps within this cascade, they could potentially be targets for anxiolytic drugs in patients with anxiety disorders. So the last thing that I wanted to mention is by potentially treating these anxiety disorders in these patients with neurological diseases, you are alleviating at least some of that suffering that they might experience, which is great. And I wanted to thank Brian Chow Neurological Foundation for funding me this summer, and also allowing me to present and to volunteer, which is awesome. This is the first time I've ever seen a bike tour. And I also wanted to thank everybody in my lab. I have their names up there, and they're the best people, and I loved working with them this summer. So thank you very much.
Wow, those two ladies, not only are they super intelligent and smart and all that stuff, but they gave great presentations too. Like, you girls are awesome. Last year when they gave speeches, I found out there was little seahorses in my brain. And this year I've got endocannabinoids. I just keep learning. It's amazing.